I really can't imagine why more of us don't throng to Goa each December for the Serendipity Arts Festival. The festival is in its ninth year now, and it has the entire town of Panjim celebrating. Multiple venues across the capital city are tastefully decorated, and it has now become South Asia's biggest multidisciplinary arts festival. Sunil Munjal's vision, along with a very happy partner with the state government, has seen public work buildings tastefully restored, beautifully, vividly painted, and decorated to celebrate Goa. Spectators are invited to partake of arts, music, culture, food, fashion, theatre, all sorts of crafts. And next year, the festival is also having a pop-up in Birmingham in the United Kingdom. I visited last weekend and I was completely and especially blown away by an outstanding visual arts immersive room that was put together by Himanshu Shani of my favorite 1111 fashion label. Shani has long been a researcher and an advocate of natural clothing, right from its farming processes to rainwater harvesting practices, to hand spinning, hand looming, hand stitching, the works. His clothes are rich with heritage and rural savoir faire. Yes, there is such a thing, and it is amazing. 1111 has a small cult of followers across the world. They're Japanese savants, to Meera Nair in New York, to Nikhil Kamath, who is a very vocal and an interested investor right here in India. Shani keeps his head down and goes to work and doesn't let his small successes turn into bigger rewards, unfortunately. Anyway, this immersive arts room is a very exciting thing. When one walks in, one is asked to put on a little plastic bag over our shoes and then a denim shroud or a handmade denim shoe over the plastic bag. Then one is invited to walk through a little pool which is filled with indigo paste across the road. The whole floor is carpeted with Cora canvas or white canvases. We leave blue or dark green, deep blue marks across the floor, and then these are cut up and turned into artworks and then hung across all areas of the festival. You know, it's really amazing because what happens is that we have become part of the production process of creating this artwork, and Shani says that eventually he's going to turn them into some sort of product. As we walk through, the most interesting thing is the process of how indigo is created from the native indigo vera plant is displayed to us. Eventually, how the yarn is dyed in the vats and all of that. So how it works is the indigo vera plant is a plant that's indigenous to India. Indigo exists in its leaves, and before the plant starts flowering, the leaves are removed and soaked in water. A seed can cultivate only 2 or 3 times, so it's important to do it before it starts flowering. The leaf is now soaked in water and a blue pigment sort of emerges, which is then dehydrated into what's called an indigo cake. This cake is gorgeous. It has organisms in it and 50% intensity of what is called indigo tin. Bits of cake, maybe about 100 grams in a gallon of water. Bits of cake is added to the vats along with dates or maybe honey, just to give it some glucose, a little imli or alum to remove the oxygen and turn it fully alkaline. The vat is now a living organism and it can last for centuries. Shani in fact has some vats at his studio which are 12 to 13 years old. Anyway, then you dip in yarn, which is long threads of cloth which have no color, into the indigo vats. They actually become a yellow color first, and then they become a sort of a green. And once they oxidize, which is once they come out into the air, they turn into a blue color. The most amazing thing about indigo is it has its own mood swings. So the blue changes with the intensity of the indigo tin. The blue changes whether you whether it is dyed in the summer or winter. It also changes whether you dye it in Gujarat or you dye it in New Delhi or Hyderabad or where else, Tamil Nadu, wherever else indigo is dyed. Shani says he has learned biodynamic farming from another hero of mine, David Hogg, who works with Araku Coffee. Shani says that when you respect the earth and when you give it love and you give it respect, it gives you what you want from it. Biodynamic farming is, it also follows the lunar calendar. So you can cultivate at a certain stage of the moon, you water it at a certain time in the day. All of this is calculated, and even cosmology becomes a part of it. Not just indigo dyeing, which has been going on for centuries. Shani has now come up with a recipe which allows indigo to be printed. This is very, very innovative and unusual. And Shani and his indigo scientist, a wonderful gentleman called Adib AK, he's a textile designer and works with 1111. Shani introduces me to him and I went through the process of how they did it, and I was completely blown away. You know, there is an indigo club across India, just a group of crazy junkies who are so obsessed with it. Jesus from Oroville is a Spanish guy, and he lives and works in India, and he has vats which are about 30 years old. Then there's also Sarvadanam Patel from Anand in Gujarat, who is another major indigo lover. And I think after this room, all of us, after we walk through this immersive room and understand the many moods and personalities and the absolute natural processes, the way indigo is created, we're all soon going to be indigo junkies too. I hope you don't miss it. Thank you.